Ever felt like you're trying to build something meaningful? A relationship, a team, a legacy? But one slip of your words, one uncontrolled reaction of your senses, and it all starts to fall apart. You didn't mean to say that, you didn't plan to act that way, but your mind jumped ahead, your emotions took over, and your senses raced before you could stop them. This is what the Bhagavad Gita calls the failure of the chariot. According to the Bhagavad Gita, your body is a chariot. Your body's senses, like the eyes, tongue, ears, hands, are like wild horses. Your mind, the seat of all desires and emotions, is like the leash, the reins controlling those horses. And we are the passengers watching the ride. Now imagine if the reins are loose, the charioteer is distracted, and the horses are untamed. What would happen? The horses, rather than being driven thoughtfully by the charioteer, will wander without purpose or control, ultimately leading the passengers to a destination they never intended to go. This is the story of our daily lives. As soon as a moment of agitation comes, the mind, if it's not controlled, instantly replays past conflicts, fuels resentment through its own play of emotions, and even distances our hearts. Eventually, it pushes our senses to go in directions we don't want them to go. For example, the ears start looking to hear criticism rather than the good in others, quickly building distrust and suspicion. The tongue speaks before intelligence can intervene, whether through hurtful words, sarcasm, or self-justification. And sometimes it leaves wounds that even apologies can't always heal. The hands may act out of impulse, slamming doors, sending sharp messages, or withdrawing affection where it was needed the most. Ideally, you would expect your intelligence to stop everything, just like a charioteer can press the brake button so that the chariot doesn't go in the wrong direction. But if our intelligence is contaminated, instead of helping us in the situation, it rather ends up empowering the mind and the senses on how best to execute even the most harmful reactions. And even worse, our corrupt intelligence may rationalize the most undesirable and unwarranted reactions. It's almost like a teacher of the school and the students collaborate together to make a mess of the system. Now, my dear friends, where do you think such a chariot will go? Towards an imminent failure. That's why, dear leaders, we can't lead others unless we first learn to lead our own mind and senses. Because until we tame our own horses, we will keep crashing our chariot again and again in form of broken trust, strained and severed bonds, and painful regrets. So how do you take charge of this inner chariot? The Gita gives a very clear sequence. It says that to control the senses, we just have to control the mind. And to control the mind, we have to control the intelligence. But if in case our intelligence is weak or clouded, then Lord Krishna further declares, he says in a very important verse of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, O mighty armed Arjuna, you are stronger than your mind and senses. So immerse yourself in the consciousness of spiritual intelligence and use the spiritual strength to conquer this insatiable enemy. And that's where most of us fail. We try to control our senses through psychological adjustments or verbal affirmations, but we forget to strengthen our spiritual intelligence. It's almost like expecting ourselves to stay calm and wise without nourishing the very source of calm and wisdom within us. Let's make this a bit practical. Have you ever watched the movie Gajni or its Hollywood inspiration Memento? The protagonist suffers from short-term memory loss. Every morning he gets up but forgets who he is. His only chance at survival is a mirror. Each day he stands before the mirror and sees various tattoos on his body, reminders of his purpose, his mission, and the truth of who he is. And without the daily reminder, he's lost. Dear leader, this can be us too. Each morning we too forget. We forget that we are souls, not the bodies. We forget the value of certain relationships we carry. We forget our purpose. And most dangerously, sometimes we forget to control our mind and senses. So what's our hope? Our hope is a mirror that can truly remind us of what we must not forget. But unfortunately, we do rush to a mirror every morning, but that's not the mirror of our purpose. It's the mirror of WhatsApp, Instagram, Telegram, headlines, deadlines. No wonder, while going through so many such mirrors, we just end up beginning our day with reactions and continuing with reactions rather than starting the day with reflection and continuing with thoughtful actions. If we do not want to become slaves of our mind and senses, we must start our mornings looking into mirrors that give us spiritual strength and intelligence, the mirror of remembrance and prayers, the mirror of chanting the holy names, the mirror of self-reflection, and especially one of the most powerful mirrors available to the mankind, the mirror called the Bhagavad Gita, a boundless source of spiritual intelligence for all of us. When you systematically study the Gita and swim deep in its wisdom, you remember who you are always. You remember what really matters. You empower your intelligence to take the reins of your mind and tame those wild horses of your senses. So my dear leaders, let the wisdom of the Bhagavad Gita become our daily reminder. Let it be the first voice we hear before the world begins to shout. So dear leaders, what mirror would you like to see tomorrow morning? I hope you'll make the right choice. Thank you very much.